What's up guys, welcome back to Horsepower and Pizza. Today's video is brought to you by Barnes Brothers Motorcycle and Off-Road, 589 West Pike Street, Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. They have KTM, Polaris, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki. All the parts, all the gear you could ever possibly want. Be sure to look them up, support the local homies. They were kind enough to hook me up with the Vertex top end kit for the KTM Power Wheels drift cart build. I did purchase it. They shipped it straight to my house because I no longer live in the area. So to save time on camera, I already started to strip the bike down. If you can't get the bike to this point, no offense, but you probably shouldn't be doing motor work. I took the seat off, air filter out, air filter cage, tank shrouds, drain the radiator into there, pulled the exhaust off. These are the radiator shrouds, simple stuff. Also going to take the spark plug out. So when you open the Vertex top end kit, you get your gaskets all bagged separately. You get your piston. This is your piston ring, your wrist pin. There's circlips that hold the wrist pin into the piston. This is roller bearing. Get your instruction manual. And of course, everybody's favorite, free stickers. I think the last time I rebuilt a two-stroke dirt bike engine was probably close to 10 years ago. It's like riding a bike. We got the E36 running now, so like how hard could this really be? Let's get into it. So the first issue I've run into trying to take the cylinder head off is that this nut is underneath the coolant port and behind the exhaust port, so you can't get a socket in there. It's very tight to try to get a wrench in here, and it's tight enough that I'm going to end up rounding the corners off of this nut. So stay tuned to figure out if and how I get that off of here. So if you're new to Horsepower and Pizza, this is my friend Timmy that always shows up and helps us get things done when we're having issues. He showed up, he's like, why don't you just grind a wrench down to get down in there? So before you grind one of your dad's nice wrenches, find a Harbor Freight wrench, grind it down, make it a little thinner. It'll slip right in here carefully. Get down on there, turn, we out here. That I did put this shop rag in here. I did that because when I take the circlips out of the wrist pin, I don't want them to fall into the bottom end of the engine, because then we have a big problem and I will be very upsetty spaghetti. The circlips that hold the wrist pin and the roller bearing into the piston and the connecting rod come out kind of spicy when you pull them out with needle nose, so probably wear eye protection for that. The triangle on the left of the piston denotes the front of the engine. That's kind of important because there's this recess part and that will clear the crank. The wrist pin goes through this roller bearing. The roller bearing goes into the connecting rod. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push the old one out, put the new one in. I did throw a little bit of oil on that bearing before I stuck it in there, but you wanna make sure that's properly lubricated. I tossed the new ring on the new piston. I lubed up the wrist pin. I'm gonna assemble that now. Now that that is reassembled, that's in there, we out here. I'm going to take a pick and remove these O-rings from the top here. And then the new gasket goes on the base, and then all of that gets assembled on there. This angled chamfer is your lead-in at the bottom of the cylinder. That is what is going to compress the ring and allow the piston to slide up inside there. These cylinder base nuts get torqued to 20 Newton meters, which is 14.8 foot-pounds of torque. The Vertex kit also came with a gasket for the reeds. I didn't take any of that apart, so I'm not doing anything with it. Came with a new gasket for the front here for the exhaust port, so I will be putting that in, and I already put the new O-rings in the top. These cylinder head screws get torqued to 18 Newton meters, which is 13.3 foot-pounds. Everything is back together, so my next step is putting the rest of the bike back together. I'm going to change the oil. I'll put new coolant in the rad when I put it on, and we'll go from there. I don't have my exhaust spring puller, so it took 3 of us to get the second exhaust spring back on. Timmy and Nolan tied paracord around it. I held onto the bike.
Sure did.
And they made it happen. Would be a lot easier to do it with the proper tools. I'm not sure what the time lapse caught because the GoPro died, but everything's reassembled. I changed the transmission fluid and I pre-mixed fuel. Try and get it going. I don't know. Haven't started it yet since I own it. Give it time. It didn't blow up yet. It's faster than I remember these bikes being, but the smell of the two-stroke smoke just gives me so much nostalgia to like 8-10 years ago when I was racing. Kind of makes me miss it a little bit, but this thing is gonna rip when it's done. I can't wait. Y'all thought I was kidding. Give me some time, we'll make it happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been so long since I've done something like that, and it feels good to get my hands dirty again and make that happen. I think this is gonna be a really fun build once we rip the motor out of that and do some stuff and things and magical fabrication work.
It's gonna rain, I'm getting tacos.
Okay. Sean left, but I'm making tacos and he decided he's coming back. So we're making tacos. In other news, the McRanger is back and better than ever with more yellow parts, but the mullet is no longer in existence. So that kind of sucks. I want to thank you guys so much for watching at Horsepower Pizza on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Be sure to check that out. There's a lot of behind the scenes content for this KTM Drift Power Wheels. The engine runs now, that was the biggest thing. So now that that works, we can focus on tube chassis, chain tensioner, and getting the steering and everything mocked up, get everything thrown together. This thing should be done by the end of summer. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Peace out. Build it for you.